Welcome back to another week here at Side Hustles by Seoenz. I'm Juan Carlos Enriquez.
And I'm Heidi So, and together we are Seoenz. Today we have a very special guest. She's a very dear friend of ours, and her name is Alejandra Gamez. She's here to share her side hustle story. I've known Alejandra for, I think she's my oldest friend. We've known each other for 14 years already. We've met obviously in high school, and it's just been a great experience getting to know her and getting to see how life has taken her in this journey now of starting her side hustle today. So I'm very excited to introduce my friend Alejandra Gamez.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me here. I'm very happy. I admire your work, your constant support for entrepreneurs, and given that I was the least open-minded regarding entrepreneurship and even business, and now that's all what I'm doing. So I think doing this lives and sharing everyone's experience is very important because in my experience I was very close-minded. I was just starting pursuing a degree. I was pursuing physical therapy, and I never imagined myself doing business. I had this stereotypical mindset that in business people just step on you just to move forward and gain the better position.
So let me cut you out there.
Okay.
So before we keep going, what is actually your background? So I know that you have a master's in kinesiology, and you are currently doing your MBA, right?
Yeah.
So and then that's when you started your small business. Actually, I think maybe it was before you started your MBA. So what was it that drew you into like kinesiology?
Kinesiology.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, before starting my business and getting into pursuing my MBA, I was pursuing a doctorate in physical therapy. I did both my bachelor and my master's degree in kinesiology. I was just all physical therapy mindset, volunteering, doing research, and nothing related to business. And I was very passionate about that because my brother, he was born with club foot, and that's an anomaly. And he got a surgery when he was younger, and he received physical therapy, and I was present in his physical therapy sessions. And since then I told myself I want to be a physical therapist. Then I closed my mind and I was just studying, getting done what I needed to get done to get into the program. And I got into the program. I went to Houston to Texas Women's University. I did a year of physical therapy, but then things didn't work out the way I wanted to. So then I came back to El Paso, and that's actually how I started my business. So when I came back to El Paso, I felt very lost. I was trying to find a job in kinesiology because when I would volunteer and all my jobs before prior my startup and where I'm right now were advocating for physical activity in children and in geriatrics. So when I came back, I was trying to find a job, and it was hard because that's when when the pandemic started, and not many people were hiring, I found a job, but it was very low paid, that I will not be able to sustain myself. So I was unemployed. My dream career was done, and I needed to do something. I needed to move forward, and I just needed to find my way. And then that's when my sister, this is how the story started. So my sister gifted me $200, and she just gifted me those $200 for me to spend it to go out with friends, to buy me clothes.
Because you weren't working, right? So you didn't
Yeah.
really have like anything
Yeah, I
like
was
giving you
unemployed.
that that money, or even to just go buy anything like related to
Yeah,
having
my parents
fun?
were fully supporting myself. And it didn't help that I was feeling um, lost and like a failure at that moment. Um, so she was trying to make me feel better and just go in and have fun, spend those $200. But when she gifted me those $200, all I could think of was how can I double that amount of money? I don't want to go out with friends and eat lunch or buy me clothes. I already have clothes. I have food at home. I don't want to spend those $200 in whatever. I need to double my money. And I spent a lot of time thinking on possible ways to double my money. I started reading entrepreneurship books, and they really, some of those books really encourage you to invest in small businesses or invest in stocks. And I was thinking, okay, I have $200. I cannot risk myself to spend that on investing on a business or in stocks. So at that moment as well, we were looking for a present to give to her mother-in-law. She was turning 60 years, so she wanted to give her something very special. And then she joined a group, since she has 2 kids. She joined a group where it's people post things that are everything for parties, and people were posting really nice arrangements with strawberries and flowers, but they were not as special. That none of those arrangements really will make her feel that.
They didn't really spoke to her
Yeah,
like what she wanted to
exactly.
gift.
So my family is very talented. We have musicians, we have artists, and she decided to make the arrangement with the idea of all everything that she had seen. She decided to make the arrangement. I helped her out since I was so much free time. And it was beautiful. And right there at that moment, when I saw the arrangement and what we had created, I thought this is a possible way for me to double those $200. So if I can sell a couple of these arrangements, that could make it happen. And sooner or later, I just went up to Walmart. I purchased everything very expensive, but I made my first model, and then I just posted on Facebook Market, and I posted on my personal Facebook page, and people started responding, and I was really happy about that. And so Mother's Day was coming up at that stage. So it's almost my 1 year anniversary now that I'm talking about this. So Mother's Day was coming up, and I saw that the model that I had made back then started to gain engagement, and people were liking it and ordering those arrangements for birthday presents. So I thought I can make a special for Mother's Day, and hopefully I can get more orders, and then I can really double up my $200 because yeah, since I was buying everything very expensive, I also didn't want to sell the arrangement at a very high price, because the other arrangements that I talked about that we were looking at that didn't really convince us, some of them had very ridiculous high prices. So I wanted also to give something special at an affordable price and something beautiful as well. So that's how it all started. And then, yeah, people liked it, and I was very happy. And I put a name to it. And
How crazy was it to start during the pandemic?
it was very crazy. First of all, because I never thought that I would be starting a business. Like I told you, I was the least entrepreneurial person. I had never sold anything in my life. So starting with that, it was super crazy. And then I think the pandemic I I guess I took advantage that everything went virtual, and that was a huge leverage to my business because I was just posting everything online, and that's why I started making more and more orders. People were sharing my arrangements, my contact page and number, and I think the pandemic was a huge leverage. Of course, it's not a blessing for anyone, but it was thanks to the pandemic and everything going virtual. It was a huge leverage for my business.
And before I cut you with the question, so how do you come up with the name?
The name. Oh, this is my favorite question. I love this question and to tell this story because when I started posting my models and started to gain engagement, I didn't have a name. It was just me selling floral arrangements.
It was just Alejandra
And
Gamez, and
yeah,
then she was like the one posting on Facebook. So it wasn't like a
yeah.
Facebook page specifically for a business. It was just you.
Yes, and all the arrangements that I was doing were from a husband to a wife, telling her how much he loved her, how she was so meaningful for him, and or a daughter to a mother saying thank you and how much they love her, a sister to a sister, a friend to a friend, and all of those notes were about love. So, and I was loving writing those notes and being the delivery person of that experience. And that's how it started. I was, okay, I'm delivering love notes. So my business has to be named Love Notes. And just so people will have more idea of what my business is, I added floral arrangements. And that's how I put the name to it. It was very inspiring when I did it.
Nice. So now during your entrepreneurship and your experience with the business, what has been your worst experience?
My worst experience. Um, it's I have hardly had a worst experience, but the worst was, and it was a very lesson learned, was that when I started taking orders for Mother's Day, for some clients I did specify the delivery time, and for some others I gave a time range, and for others I didn't really specify. And I had one client that she had an appointment. They were making a surprise party for her mother, and but she lived pretty far, and the delivery. My father and my brother helped me with delivery. So if the person tells me, please deliver it, try to deliver it by a certain time. So I tell them, okay, try to start here the delivery, and then you can spread out. No one has a special request. So she didn't really tell me a time, but she was expecting it to be in the morning. And on that day, she was the last person to be delivered. So she waited all day, and she was constantly asking me, are you almost here? What time are you going to be here? And then towards the afternoon, she started to get
Angry.
yes,
Annoyed.
and I was calling my brother and my father, where are you? I need you to please just take a detour and go ahead and deliver that arrangement. And for this lady, I didn't specify the time, and she told me I was expecting it to be in the morning, and so it was a miscommunication, and I think that was a negative experience for her and also for me, but that's why I took it as a lesson learned. So every time I book or somebody books an arrangement with
Now
me,
you always ask.
yes. Now I always ask, and I have a little on my notes on my phone, I have a little message that that specifies like what time do you need it, or if it's for a holiday, I cannot specify a time because I cannot compromise myself to tell you, okay, I'll be there by noon, and always something happens that I may not make it by noon, so I really don't want to compromise, so I give a time range, and you can tell me in the morning or the afternoon, and I try to
Make it.
exactly. So I have that message reading, and I cannot book it into my agenda if I haven't sent that message. So
Okay. Well, before he goes on and questions you about
Yeah.
everything, I wanna point out you mentioned that your father and your brother help you out. So, is this like a more of a family business? Like, even though you're like the person, like the go-to person, like it is your
Your business.
startup, right?
Uh-huh.
But is it more like of a family, business?
Enterprise.
Like everybody's supporting each other.
Yes, actually, well, my parents, my family were very close together, and we have always supported each other in anything. And when for Mother's Day, we started getting so many orders that at one point I told my mother, I'm not gonna take any more orders because I don't think I'm gonna be able to make them all and make them all as pretty, because when you're trying to do things faster, they don't come as pretty when you have all day one order maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So when they do help me a lot on holidays, like Mother's Day is a big one, graduation, so May and also December are big ones, and also
Valentine's.
Valentine's Day, yes. And I like it because we all work together. I on Mother's Day last year, that's when I learned many things. So I learned to communicate with them a lot more, to be more specific, because I will tell them the things that I since I already knew, and I think this happens to everyone. Since you know what you want, you think the other person knows what you want, but that's not always the truth.
case,
So I found myself constantly fixing the arrangements. Like I didn't want it this way. My father will put the strawberries in a certain way, and I didn't want them that way. For me, it was obvious to be facing down, and then he put them facing up. So I learned that I needed to be clear, and I was very stressed on the arrangements. That I learned to control my stress, and we all started to work in a more harmonic and more harmony, more happy, and everyone got engaged. So it has been a really beautiful experience to include my family in that, and they do help me a lot in delivery. That has been a great support because by myself I will have not completed so many orders. Yeah.
So well, hi Irving, tu best friend.
Hi, Irene.
So before we go on, I wanted to ask you, well, how many orders did you get for your first Mother's Day? Like, because it was like your first big,
Of course, yeah.
I guess like,
Launch.
like big, big opening, right? That's when you already had the Love Notes floral arrangement. I mean, it took you a while to get to the name, but for Mother's Day, you were already selling us Love Notes floral arrangement. So, so how was that? Like, how was your feeling, first of all? But first, tell us how many you got. Because I'm thinking it was like something that you were not expecting, right? And then, second of all, how did that make you feel for your business? Did that reassure you that you were doing taking the right path?
Uh-huh. So we did 168 orders.
Wow.
It was a lot, yes. And it was really funny because, like I said, I have never sold anything. And so I went and ordered a couple flowers. And then I had a deadline to order how many flowers I needed. And so I ordered, I don't know, 200 flowers. And then
You run out.
people were still
Ordering.
ordering. So on the deadline, I went and I ordered a couple more. And I didn't want to over order because I was still very unsure that I wasn't going to sell that many arrangements. And so people were still ordering, and I ran out of the flowers that I had already ordered. The deadline had already passed to order all the flowers. And my mother will still tell me, just keep on getting the orders, just keep on getting.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. And
That's a good advice.
yeah, but it's kind of also scary
Stressing,
because
yeah, of course.
you don't have for sure the flowers. And she told me, we can go every Walmart in El Paso and get the flowers. But I was scared to not get what I was
The
going
margin,
to
right?
sell correct. And I didn't want to change the order at the very last minute. So I was very lucky that the my vendor, he was able to increase for a little bit more my order. And then getting closer to the date, he told me that the bus with the flowers didn't arrive. So I was short almost half of the flowers.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
So he told me that maybe they were going to arrive. I think it was on Saturday. I planned to pick them up on Thursday. He told me that maybe the bus was going to arrive on Saturday. So I was in shock. I was so stressed. My head was hurting badly. So I didn't care. I told my mother, you know what? We planned that if something was gonna happen, we were going to go to every Walmart.
So let's start.
So let's start.
So yeah, we went to every Walmart and I purchased all the flowers that I needed. I didn't wait until Saturday for that maybe to not happen. So I did that, and then um, I was feeling much better. And then on Saturday, I went. The vendor called me. He told me the bus is here. Come get your order. And I told my mother, I think I'm gonna tell him to sell
I don't
it.
want them.
Yeah. She told me, no, get it, and we can just
Sell
sell them. So we got the order, and this order, like I said, it was half of what I had already ordered. And I went and I purchased that on Walmart. And then I went for my other half and I sold every single rose. So
Wow.
it was a huge success.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
It's
So how
a
did that feel? How did that feel when you were able to oversell what you were thinking of, first of all? And then, and again, did that make you feel like you were in the correct path, like moving forward?
Yes, that made me feel very good. Um, I felt that I was starting something new that I didn't know that I was capable of. And I learned throughout that short processing time, I learned so many things. I learned to manage the business, take orders, and organize the business, and how to apply service, customer service, and try to de-escalate that lady that I told you that she was really pissed. Of course, she didn't make it to the surprise party. I mean, to say surprise, she made it. I felt very bad, but everything that I went through has been a lesson learned, and I'm doing everything a lot better and more smoothly. And I think I continue to learn more and more.
And that's always going to be the case,
Yeah.
obviously, when
Yes,
you're
yes.
starting a business,
Learning
a
process.
startup, when you're first, especially, how you mentioned that in a million years, you would have never pictured yourself as a businesswoman.
No.
It was not what you would have thought for yourself. You were going to be a doctor. And that's so crazy to think back, right? And to think back and be like, I was doing my PhD. I was ready to be a doctor. I was ready to, have my own clinic and help people and do all of these things. And then it's just like a complete,
Yeah, like a full 180
Yes.
turn.
and you're like, okay, so now I'm starting my own business and I continue to grow. And I think that's so exciting. That's so exciting to learn from you. So now that we have that, now you can continue the interrogation.
Yeah. So now talking about your background, I mean, how has that background helped you in this business? Like all the kinesiology, the study that you did, to how it has helped you deal with this?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. I think every career in any field gives you the strength of getting things done by yourself, because nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to learn for you. When I was studying kinesiology, I did a lot of community service, and I was very involved in research with many different backgrounds. So I think that really helped me to understand how people want to be treated and provide the right customer service to always have a smile and make them smile back to you, to give that experience for them. Um, I think that's the main thing that I can transfer from kinesiology, the customer service, and also all the writing that I did. I think communicating with the customers is very important. If you spell things correctly, you make them feel confident that their message that they're sending is gonna be
The love note, right? The
Yeah,
love
correct.
note.
The love note will be well written, and then also they sometimes they ask me for help on writing a note, and I think that I developed a very descriptive way of expressing myself through writing. So I think that has helped me to help them also on doing a very nice note, love notes.
That's so great because I mean, obviously you go through life never thinking that this is gonna be, you know, your new endeavor. And then now it's like, oh wow, I can't believe that me wanting to be a doctor actually helps me do this more professionally and help other people, you know, communicate their message through me. And it's like you would have never thought, right? It's so crazy. It's just all of it sounds amazing, and I'm very 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 happy for you. Obviously, just getting out there and taking that leap of faith, and because I known you for so
Yeah.
long, that I know that it was just something that it was just so far out for you. And but it's great now that you're part of the team.
I know, I love it, and I love the support that I have received from you too, and I love that you are supporting all entrepreneurs. It's never a bad idea to have a side hustle, I think, and I follow one of the books that I read was a 10% Entrepreneur by Patrick McGinnis, and he says that you don't have to be a 100% entrepreneur. You can start by being a 10% entrepreneur and start investing and start getting that side hustle, that extra income that it will never hurt you. And yeah, that's how I started. And I think everyone should keep an open mind towards it. Since I was very close-minded, I truly support that.
Oh, that's great for, I mean, to continue education and to read books is great. And you were letting us know that you're pursuing your MBA. Is this because of the business? Is this a new drive that is giving way to a new career too?
Yeah, it does definitely has something to do with my decision on pursuing the MBA. Like I mentioned, I was very stressed, and I was feeling very lost at that moment. I was looking for a job here in El Paso, even anywhere in the US, in Mexico, other areas, and I could not find something that really will fulfill me. And I know that sometimes you need to take a stepstone position to get to where you want to, but those positions didn't really offer me an opportunity to move forward. So I just had to sit and have a talk with myself and to decide where I wanted to go next. And since the Love Notes was being really successful and I was really liking it, and I felt like I was finding a new passion that I didn't know about myself, and I was discovering and learning many things that I would have never imagined. I thought that a background in business and to get the opportunities that the university offers you while you're a student was going to help me leverage my startup. And that I looked up some of the opportunities, and who will have thought that I now also work for the Magloria Center for Innovation and Commerce. So we support entrepreneurs, student entrepreneurs, to launch their idea into a venture. And we connect them with different mentors and advisors that are professional in different areas. And I think I have taken advantage of that too. So definitely starting my own business has given me uh, many doors, has opened many doors that I never thought that I would be knocking on, and I'm very happy. That's the most important thing that I can say. I'm very grateful that I am here, as having to leave many things that didn't work out. Yeah.
So I wanted to point out that even though you mentioned that it's for just students that are at UTEP, but it's also for alumni. So if there's any out there of our audience listening to this and you guys are a UTEP alumni, I think it's like within 7 years that you graduated, you're able to apply for these programs as well. I know we are in a process of applying it because I graduated in 2017 from my master's in systems engineering. So I'm still in that, gap of those 7 years. So, or is it 5? I'm not sure, but
It's 5.
It's 5. Okay, so it's 5 years after you graduated, and as a UTEP alumni, you can also apply for these resources. So it's very cool that you mentioned that because it's just a way to, again, have more doors open for you, have more resources for your startup to continue, and for anyone out there that it's listening and just has a crazy idea or has a passion and you want to pursue that passion into a business. So that's what it's there for. And even if you studied, I don't know, psychology or criminology or whatever
It's for
you
any
did,
major.
it's for any major, for a UTEP alumni, or if you're actually a student there at the moment. So I think it's very cool what you're doing, even though it's part of your MBA. You're learning all these things. So I'm really excited
Yeah,
for
and
all of those new ventures that you're doing.
thank you. And really, like Heidi has said, really take advantage of that program because it's free. Like we connect you with professionals in many areas, with lawyers, marketing, advisors, just a startup strategy, and doing your finance, and everything is free for UTEP students and alumni. And if you really want more information, you can always contact me. But the name of the organization is Studio G. You can just look it up on the UTEP web page, and you should get all the information that you need.
So it's Studio G.
Studio G, correct.
That's great to know. So any more questions?
There's a couple of more. In terms of sales, what have you learned in terms of marketing? I know that you do a lot of Instagram. So, what do you recommend someone just starting?
That is a really good question. I think when you're starting your job, for me, for example, I think, okay, everything that I have learned is that you need to create engagement. And in order to create engagement on your post is that you need to post a really nice picture that is going to call the attention of the viewer. That way you can attract them to your page. If they like your pictures, they will follow you, and that's a free follower. um, the content that you post needs to be engaging. Sometimes, I mean, the books say that you need to post things that are not selling. So if you are posting just things that you're selling, that decreases the engagement. So if you post something informative, people like the information that they're reading, but you obviously have to make it more interesting. And also, I learned from experience. So when I very first posted that first model, I wrote a Bible on the description. And that was a killer. And the very first time that I posted, I wrote, I think, hello everyone. I started selling these floral arrangements, and this is my first time selling. I was telling my whole story, and I learned that. I mean, that's nice, I think, if you're selling to your family, but if you want to sell to friends of friends and the community, you need to write something more attractive, like gift this beautiful
Arrangement.
flowers, yeah. Yeah, and avoid using too many words. Of course, say something captivating, interesting, that to start making from that post the experience that the client is gonna go through. So they read the post, they like what you're saying, that you have to include your contact information if you don't post exactly from the
The
main
business
page,
page.
correct? And I think the experience starts there. So if you start the experience there and make it engaging, I think that's what the most you're gonna be most successful on your marketing for your
Nice.
business.
And there's something that I just saw a YouTube video on marketing, and this is something that you're doing currently. They use the AIDA model, which is the awareness, the interest, the desire, and the action. So throughout the messages, so I just related, you were speaking with it, and then, okay, so this is the model that you're actually implementing, but you learn it through experience,
I
not
love
through,
it.
not
And I
because
didn't
you,
know about
so this
this.
is, yeah, so I just wanted to point that out. It's not
Thank
that,
you.
we all learn through books, but
Mhm.
usually we find these things out through experience and what works. And like you said, checking out your engagement and how many people are reacting to those messages. Okay, so this is what works. This is what I'm gonna continue to do. So it's continuous improvement as well.
Mhm.
So that's great. I mean, that's nice to see it and relate it to something that actually is on the books.
Wow, thank you, Juan Carlos. I didn't know about that, and well, you learn always something new, right? Every day.
So moving forward, I wanted to ask you, where do you see yourself in, 5 years towards this business model that you're doing?
Mm, that's a very good question. I I am very unsure of where I will be, but I definitely picture my business in a small shop, very mm, elegant, but also affordable shop. And I have, since so many doors have been opening, and one of those doors has been to make bridal adornments, bouquets and boutonnieres,
Backdrops.
decorating backdrops, correct. The hall actually, I am the
In-house
in-house
florist.
florist for the Union Plaza Loft here. Thanks to Heidi for providing that opportunity.
And we're actually here in
At the Union Plaza Loft
Yeah.
venue.
Yeah.
So this is one of the backdrops that she's used before.
Yeah. So I picture myself offering um, services for weddings and also continue with the arrangements.
Mhm.
And I don't know where life is going to take me, but I will definitely love for my mother and my father to continue the business. They enjoy working also, so I think it will be a good idea.
So you see yourself having a floral shop with your parents along the way, not really for work, but more of a support system, right? And just having that family business. I think it's so important here in El Paso to have that local business and to support local. We're a very great community. I love El Paso, and I think that's my following question. So, what's the difference between you that are a local business compared to like a franchise of, or even any sort of like store that sells these arrangements? So, what's the big difference between that?
That's also a good question. Thank you. I think what defines my service, my service, my startup, is that I am open to deliver arrangements at any time as long as you make the booking on time. Sometimes I can do like on 1 day arrangements, but it's difficult. But if it's needed, why not? If I can help you, why not? If somebody's having a bad day and you really want to send an arrangement right now, I can try to make it right now. And also, I think what defines most of my startup is that I want to help people. I, I want to create something beautiful at an affordable price, a fair price for you, the client, and a fair price for me. So if it takes me a lot of time, I think it needs to be fair, the pricing for my time and also for the arrangement. I try to work with, so I make different models now. Some of them are more expensive than others, and when people I want to book an arrangement, I tell them,
What's your budget?
this is the price for this one. We can modify it to meet your budget if you have a budget. And I work with the client more personally so that I can meet their budget, I can meet their likes, and also always create a beautiful arrangement at the price that they can afford. And I think that's one of the main things that define my business. It's hard to find a big shop to really sit with you and think, okay, this is the price for this arrangement.
Do a consultation mainly
Correct, yeah.
before you go ahead.
And offer different flowers to meet your budget and all that. And also the service, I have been congratulated from many clients that they love my service, and that is one of the reasons that they come back and continue to purchase from Love Notes.
That's great, and that's a great marketing tool because the word of mouth is one of the best ways to create awareness of your services. And right now with
And it's free.
reviews, reviews and that
Yes.
sort of thing. So that's pushing that way of selling. So we have a question from Irving Salazar. So I'm gonna put it up on the screen. Do you need to live in El Paso to be part of the UTEP program you mentioned for alumnus? Going back a little bit on the questions.
Oh, thank you, Erin, for your question. Actually, no, you don't have to live in El Paso as everything is virtual right now. And I believe, when everything goes back to normal, no, you don't have to live in El Paso. As long as you're a UTEP alumni, we accept applications. So apply. I can do your interview as well.
And then I think, so it's very great to have you here. So obviously Mother's Day is right around the corner, and please tell the audience how they can contact you, how can they place an order with you, so that they can have their beautiful flower arrangements delivered to their moms.
Hi, yes, of course. So we are planning on doing different baskets with florals, but also we can always customize. And you can contact us through our Facebook page and also Instagram. And we are at lovenotes.floral. You can find us there on Instagram and Facebook. You can see it, I believe, on the screen. So please follow us, and we are very happy to work with you and deliver your love note.
So that you can see some of the arrangements that she's been working on for Mother's Day, and they're beautiful. And then before you move, so right there where you see that little heart, that's actually where she places the love note.
Yes.
So I think it's very cute. Like, you have a love note in a bottle, And it's super cute to open that.
It's very
And
exciting.
yes.
It's part of the experience. Yeah.
No, I think you do a great job, making people have that entire experience about opening a love note, and also because it's a very different love note. Whenever you order from any sort of flower arrangement, they always just do like the typical card, right? And sometimes it's not even in an envelope, it's just like there with a stick. So I think it's so different by having that, because it's just a different experience. So obviously, all of our audience that are listening, go follow her at lovenotes.floral. And also, here's a big shout out to all of our next bridals. If you guys are looking for a venue, we do have our venue here at the Union Plaza Loft. We are right downtown. And our in-house florist is obviously Alejandra. She is with Love Notes Floral. And we're going to show you really quick some of the backdrops and flower and centerpieces that she's made here with us.
Yeah, and everything can be customized with the flowers that you want, the arrangements that you want. And if you have a budget, like I said, we love to work with your budget. And just to make everything beautiful, I think everyone deserves that love experience.
And then, so that's the other one. Those are like the specific centerpieces. And then this one was one of the most recent ones that you did, which is a very new. It's like trending right now, I would say, like with the palms and everything. So every picture that you see at Airbnb, which is Airbnb Union Plaza Loft. Anyway, so any decorations you see with us at the Union Plaza, it's actually made by Alejandra. So any decorations you'll see there, any backdrops you'll see there, they're all made by her. So if you like them, if you wanna, even if it's not gonna be here in the venue, you can always reach out to her and screenshot the picture that you mostly like, and reach out to her and tell her, hey, you know what, I want to recreate this, but I'm gonna do it, I don't know, at a park or at my house or something. So she's very available, and she's very good at figuring things out and see how she can help any sort of event that you're having. So we're very happy to have you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And if there's any questions that you guys might have, please put them on the comments below. And my tech guy, it's a little slow today. So put them on the comments below. Yeah. And just comment, we're really happy to have had Alejandra here sharing her side hustle story. And we hope that she inspired many of you to start your new side hustle. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story again. And again, go ahead and follow her at lovenotes.floral. So anything else you want to add on?
No, please share, review, and give us a comment on the messages, so it helps us and to keep on bringing on guests and bringing on some more content for you to learn. And we are here to help each other out.
Okay. Yeah, and I just want to thank you guys for having me here, and thank you everyone that watched this live, that supports us. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And support local, support El Paso.
Yes, support local.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.